As soon as Artoria introduced herself, her body was covered with a golden hue that came from her sword. It surprised Reinhard, who stood beside her, and made him take a step back. He didn't know, but he think that standing a step behind Artoria is natural. He was confused by his actions, but he brushed it off for now because Elsa was still in front of them. Artoria didn't look at Reinhard's action and just focused her gaze on Elsa. She was ready for anything, and Elsa was also ready to pounce at her. They locked their gaze for a while until finally, Elsa rushed at her with speed faster than before. Elsa slashed at Artoria horizontally, aiming for her stomach. Artoria could react in a faster time and blocked Elsa's slash with Caliban. Not only that, Artoria slashed back as a counterattack at Elsa. Elsa dodged the slash, but not completely. Her arm was bleeding because of Artoria's sharp slash. She looked at her arm that was bleeding and smiled. It seems that you are a juicy prey too. She licked her blood and rushed to Artoria again. Both of them were exchanging slashes at a fast speed that normal people can't see. Reinhard just stood in front of Emilia and Subaru while watching Artoria exchanging slashes with Elsa. "Why don't you help him, Reinhard?" shouted Subaru at Reinhard. He looked at the place where Artoria fought Elsa. He saw Elsa leap away and jump towards Artoria and sent a deadly slash each time she passed her. Reinhard looked at Subaru and said, "She introduced herself in a knightly way, even giving her full name, which she didn't tell me earlier. That's her determination to have one-on-one fight. I can't intrude into her fight in this case." Reinhard looked back at Artoria, who has a golden glow surrounding her body. "Also, I don't think she need help." Subaru looked at the fight closely and saw that Artoria managed to land a slash at Elsa's body again, making her jump back to make a distance. "Let's end this, shall we?" asked Elsa while licking her lips. "Agreed, it seems that the lady over there was done with her healing," answered Artoria as he looked at Emilia for a second before focusing her gaze towards Elsa again. "That's right, I need to kill you now and kill the other people later." As Elsa said that, she ran towards Artoria with two similar blades that she held in each hand. The new blade was a surprise for Artoria, but she had prepared herself. She raised her sword above her head and gathered mana around it. The silver blade began to glow gold as mana poured into it. Elsa feels something dangerous that came from the sword that was raised by Artoria and hastened her run. Unfortunately, Artoria was done gathering the mana because she has a lot of mana inside her body. When Elsa arrived in 5 meters range from Artoria, Artoria slashed her sword down and created a stream of golden light as she shouted, "Caliban!" The stream of golden light engulfed Elsa and blasted the wall away. Artoria had held herself back, but the destruction that was caused by Caliban surprised her. Seeing that Elsa was nowhere to be seen, Artoria sheathed Caliban and turned back to Reinhard and the others. "Sir Reinhard, I'm sorry, but it seems that she had escaped." "What did she mean? Didn't Elsa died from her attack?" asked Subaru to Emilia and Reinhard. Emilia shook her head and said, "I don't know. I'm sure that she was killed by that attack too." At that moment, the blonde girl entered the house and looked around before running towards the big guy as she shouted, "Old man Ram." She arrived in front of the big guy, Ram, and shook his body with visible worry on her face. "He's okay, Felt. Emilia Tan had healed his wound," assured Subaru. Felt was looking at Emilia with confusion. "Why? I had stolen your insignia. He had shielded me when my spirit was out of commission, it's natural for me to repay him," answered Emilia. Artoria and Reinhard were watching them with a smile on their face. Artoria was relieved that the case was over, but she was worried about Elsa, who fled at the last moment her attack hit her. "She could be a problem in the future, we should find her and arrest her quickly," thought Artoria. Artoria looked at Felt, who pulled an insignia from her pocket. The insignia was black with a yellow pattern. There is a red gem in the middle of the insignia that drew Artoria in. "I guess I will give it back to you," said Felt as she stood up and walked towards Artoria. What happens next is comical. Felt was stumbled her feet and the insignia fall from her hand. The insignia was landed in front of Artoria, which she picked with her hand. As soon as Artoria touched the insignia, the gem was letting out a dim red light which surprised Reinhard. He had a surprised expression, but he immediately hid it from the others and walked towards Artoria. No, Lady Artoria. I'm sorry, but are you willing to stay at my home for tonight? I'm afraid that I need you for something. Artoria was confused by the sudden change of attitude from Reinhard. She just nodded her head because she thought that Reinhard wanted to talk about Elsa from earlier. Also, she just thought that Reinhard changed the way he called her because she introduced herself as the next king of Britain, which makes sense in her mind. Sure, Sir Reinhard, answered Artoria. She looked at Emilia and walked towards her. I believe this is yours, miss. Artoria handed the insignia back to Emilia. Thank you. I don't know what to do without this insignia, said Emilia as she smiled at Artoria. No problem, miss. I hope you won't lose it next time. Artoria turned back towards Reinhard and walked to him. She stopped beside him and asked, What will you do with the blonde girl and the old guy, Sir Reinhard? As a knight, I believe you can apprehend them. Reinhard looked at the blonde girl, felt, and the big guy, Ram, and thought for a while. That's true, stealing an insignia of the king candidate is a heavy crime. Artoria was surprised by the revelation and looked at Emilia in surprise. King candidate? She muttered to no one in particular, but Reinhard heard her. Maybe you've heard this, but this country royal family is eradicated. There is a prophecy about 5 dragon maidens. Those maidens were going to go through the competition, or rather an election to choose the next king amongst those maidens. The insignia is the sign that she's a king candidate or one of those maidens, explained Reinhard. Artoria nodded her head in understanding. That's certainly a heavy crime. So what would you do, Sir Reinhard? As I said, usually as a knight I need to apprehend the young girl. But... Reinhard paused a little and smiled. I'm off duty today, so I will not do anything to them. Subaru and Felt were relieved by what Reinhard had said. They were smiling and Subaru stood up. Thank you, Reinhard. That's what friend does. Reinhard looked at Subaru and muttered. Friend. Right. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.